Peace, love, and prosperity to all of humanity on planet Earth. This is Abdul Al-Kabir, the great servant of the people. Also, the Sultan of the Empire of Morocco, the de jure and legitimate Sultan of the Empire of Morocco as of June 8th, 2024, by votes, democratic votes. All the Moroccan nationals came together and hired me to represent them on an international stage. What we have now is a fraudulent tumbleweed sultan who's just running around pretending to be something that he's not by the name of Kendon Bey. Be advised, be warned that he is not the sultan. He took the office by way of a coup d'etat that took place. This has to always be made clear for the record on the front end of these classes. At any rate, today we will be having an open discussion, general conversation. We will be sharpening iron today. We don't really have a lesson planned for today. We will be having an organic lesson. So before the recording, um, I asked the Moors what questions did they want answered, and there was a few that was presented. One of which is uh, a breakdown of what decolonization is, um, and other concerns or interest would be what is a coup d'état, and outside of that, we'll be uh, discussing other matters. I'm very interested in going over the passing of the Shereefian Empire. That's a book that was written, uh, can recall the exact year. Uh, let's share it real quick. This book here, chapter 36, Roman numerals, right? Is that 36? That's correct. The future of Morocco. Morocco is the least of the semi-barbarous countries of Northern Africa to withstand the advance of the civilized powers. See, they became civilized. The very name of the country has been a byword to Europeans for centuries, and the Moors have enjoyed a reputation second to none for prowess in the field and for cruelty towards those who have fallen into their hands. You see that, Moors? So we were second to none with our prowess in the field, but also at the same time, we were very cruel towards those who fell into our hands. So let me ask the Moors something, and I hope the Europeans are listening. Going forward, once we regain our sovereign authority and power, our prowess in the field, once we regain our prowess in the field, are we going to go back to being cruel to those who fall in our hands? That's a question for the floor.
No, we're not. We learned our
Yeah.
lesson.
How y'all know y'all ain't going to do it?
Well, the laws we're going to pass.
We stand in compliance with uh, peace and friendship treaty.
And I would say, and I
Go
would
ahead.
say also, I would say, understanding actually who they are, and I mean, I'm not reaching out to intendedly treat nobody bad, but we also don't want to treat nobody bad with lack of erudition of history as well, and that's one thing I think about Islam.
Bingo. That's what
Okay.
I was about to say. He hit a good point. The mothers and fathers of civilization don't have to abuse nobody. We know who we are now.
Okay.
And we're going to pass strong laws that will benefit uh, all of humanity.
Islam. Anyone else? Because none of y'all gave me the answers I was looking for. Those all were, although they were all excellent questions. I mean, excellent answers. Anyone else want to give it another shot?
How do we know we won't?
Correct. That
Uh,
you. How do you know that you're not going to be belligerent and cruel to others?
Well, being erudite, I don't see how it's not even allowing it to operate as such. As far as my research has been, it's been keeping us in order. So I haven't seen where it gives that leeway.
Well, then, yeah, no, I got you. Those are excellent. I mean, the Constitution even forbids it, right?
And
So,
Right.
we
but that's still
understand
not the answer I'm looking for.
we understand the
Excellent
clock of
answers.
destiny will come back around on us.
That's correct too, because it already had. You want it to happen again? Yeah,
Nope.
exactly. So, excellent answers. Somebody else want to give it one more try before I answer the question. And these are all
Say,
excellent, but those
Point of
you
interest.
say, go ahead, brother. I'll wait.
I just wanted to say, Chief Justice Tyrone here.
Islam brother Tyrone, Chief Justice.
Is even though I'm not a politician, I just want to say I think through Islam itself, I self law and master. If you master your emotions, master yourself, therefore you're not going to mistreat and be belligerent. Because it's like a fact. Like the brother was saying, we know who we are. So through operating your higher self, there's no need to be belligerent.
Correct.
I yield.
Okay. There was somebody from YD.
Yeah, Daryl Day. I was just gonna
Islam
say,
brother.
operating Islam too. I was just gonna say operating with the five pillars. Love, truth,
Okay.
peace, freedom, justice. We
Correct.
operate on those. And two, you can't really foresee the future. You can just know thyself. Sometimes we challenge with difficult situations, and sometimes we let emotion and impulse take a hold too. No matter how erudite we are, which has happened before. So I would say, just when the situation approaches and you notice it and you feel yourself in those type of situations, think of your erudition and use your treaty and self
Agreed.
control. Islam.
Excellent.
Triple
I mean, everyone.
principles. And
Correct.
then the one
Triple
that you
principle.
like to mention, unity, loyalty, conformity, and obedience.
Correct. That's the closest answer. You got close. What's the name of that game? Uh, when you're when you hide something and you get hot, they'll say you're hot when you're far away from it, you're cold. I forgot it.
That's just what it is, hot and cold.
Hot and
When
cold.
you close,
Okay,
you
so
hot.
Wazir Asir he wasn't even hot, but he was warm because he reverted back to me. So the answer is because I ain't having it. Oh, the head of state is not having it. The Sultan is not going to
Islam.
have that. I'm not going to have any cruelty towards anyone. And so the backup support to my position regarding that is everything y'all said, the laws and etc. Everything that you guys said, your erudition, being in higher self, all that is the supporting factor that's backing me up to stand in the Moors' way of their belligerence. Because trust and believe. You on the call, I doubt it. You're more in the higher self than anyone else. But the newest of the newest black man who becomes a Moor, better watch him. This is why I keep warning the Moors against your victim mindset or any victim mindset or fear of mindset, victimized mindset, right? You have to come into adulthood as higher self. And in doing so, you start to realize what it is that you did and why you ended up where you were based on what you did. The clock of destiny started ticking. Karma is a mother effer. But is it really a mother effer or is just karma is just karma? Because the same way you do good, you get that back. You reap what you sow. You do bad, you get back what's bad. So it's not karma is a mother effer. Karma is what it is. And no one is no one no one is outside of that law. No different than no one is outside of the law of gravity. Which means Jermaine, Diaz, Spencer, and Ampac 2.0 are subject to the law of Cause and effect. Karma. It's all going to come back to them. Continue. As I continue, the Barbary, now listen, the Barbary pirates were long a terror. A terror to mariners in the Mediterranean and Atlantic. So, has anyone seen the movie Pirates of the Caribbean? Who was the star actor in that movie? Johnny Depp, wasn't he?
Right.
Is he a Moor?
No.
No,
No.
but he tried to act like it.
Okay, but so was that movie whitewashed?
Yes, it was.
That's what it was. The
But he had
pirates,
dreads. If you look at the hat, he had dreads trying to like,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, they had elements to show you in the movie, but not in its full totality. If you're gonna put fake dread locks, let's say locks, on some European, then you might as well use the Moor if you're gonna use his hairstyle. But you see that's a J Bay fork tonguing. See, they tell you without telling you. But what did they say? The Barbary pirates were long a terror to mariners in the Mediterranean and Atlantic, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Where is the halls of Montezuma, Morris? Does anyone know where's the halls of Montezuma? What's the halls of
Mexico.
Montezuma?
Mexico for
Mexico.
sure.
Yucatan.
Not really Mexico, but close.
The Yucatan.
No. Trump came in and tried to rename the region. What is it called? So that little area, the little ocean area between Mexico, Florida,
You talking about
Louisiana,
the
that whole
Gulf? You
body of
talking about the
water.
Gulf?
Thank you, the Gulf of
Oh,
Mexico. That's the halls of the Gulf. So from that area all the way up to the shores of Tripoli, this is what the Marines be singing, remembering the terror, right, that the Moors imposed upon them. What else does it say? The Barbary pirates were long a terror to mariners in the Mediterranean and Atlantic, and many are the terrible tales that have come down to us of the horrors endured by the Christian captives. You see? And many are the terrible tales that have come down to us of the horrors endured by the Christian captives. The same way the Moors supposedly, quote unquote, endured horrors of their captivity. But again, while this was happening, it's the same time period in which they say we were slaves. It can make sense. Were we really being sold on auction blocks? Were we really being traded as slaves? I don't know, but I know that they're telling us about their captivity. There's a book called The Christian Narratives in which they go into that story. Right? The horrors endured by the Christian captives, men, women, and children who were sold as slaves and carried off into the interiors of Morocco, there to languish in the corners, right? Remember? The Negro is languished in the corners of American society where he finds himself exiled on his own homeland. Who said that?
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
MLK, right? Languish out the remainder of their days in the households and harems. So this is where the women went, or at least the good-looking ones, so-called harems of the powerful Cades. So were the Cades. The French who started on the conquest of Algeria in 1830 have never yet ventured to attack the Shereefian Empire, although they won the Battle of Isly as long ago as 1844. How did they win that? The Moors assisting them. So I just wanted to give you just a small. This is again chapter 26. The book is called The Passing of the Shereefian Empire, and this chapter is called The Future of Morocco. And this is what this was written by a white man. Let me take it to the top so you all can screenshot it.
Yeah. And just a quick point of interest while you're going there, and I just want to, as I'm, looking at all the participants here as the Sultan's going to the top, do we know who Valerie Robinson is?
No, but remember, this is an open discussion, so anyone is
Okay,
welcome. It's all good.
okay, great.
So this is supposed to be an image of and I appreciate your vigilance, or vigilance. The Sultan Mulai El Hafid. This is supposed to be an image of him. That man's so black that's how it turned out, black and white. Like his whole face turned out black, and his headdress turned out white. This is how much of a Moor this man is. The Sultan Mulai El Hafid. So this is the passing of the Shereefian Empire. Right here. Let me put it here so you could have the author's name and everything. Can you all see it? Get your screenshots. Let me know when you're ready. Passing of the Shereefian Empire by Ashmead-Bartlett, William Blackwood and Sons, Edinburgh and London, 1910. So the book was published in 1910. Okay, Morris? And we'll be going over this book eventually. We'll be probably chapter for chapter, or so, I'm not sure, because it is 600 pages. It's a big book. Yeah, it's a great book though. I've been looking at this book for quite a few times, quite some years now. Okay. All right. So back to the Moore's query. Let me try to pull up the what's going on here. Okay, fine. Right here. This will work. As you all know, I struggle with when the Zoom thing is up on my screen, it makes it difficult for me to, because I got two different web pages that I work with. If I'm pulling up documents, it comes into another one, and then otherwise it's the regular internet, and to flip flop back and forth, it's kind of difficult because of the Zoom. Anyhow, decolonization. We wanted to have a better understanding on what decolonization is. Okay, let's begin by reading the Britannica. What does the Britannica have to say? Someone want to read this definition for me, please? Now, remember that Britannica is a British encyclopedia. Very credible, a credible source. Go ahead, Morris, or someone, whoever.
Decolonization, process by which colonies become independent of the colonizing country. Decolonization was gradual and peaceful for some British colonies largely settled by expatriates, but violent for others, where native rebellions were energized by nationalism. After World War II, European countries generally lacked the wealth and political support necessary to suppress faraway revolts. They also faced oppositions from the new superpowers, the U.S. and the Soviet Union, both of which had taken positions against colonialism. Korea was freed in 1945 by Japan's defeat in the war. The U.S. relinquished the Philippines in 1946. Britain left India in 1947, Palestine in 1948, and Egypt in 1956. It withdrew from Africa in the 1950s and 60s, from various islands protectorates in the 1970s and 80s, and from Hong Kong in 1997. The French left Vietnam in 1954 and gave up its North African colonies by 1962. Portugal gave up its African colonies in the 1970s. Macau was returned to the Chinese in 1999.
Gratitude for that read. And we'll stop here at this particular definition, right? Okay. Let's unpack it a little bit. But first, let's remind everyone of the conversation between the French government and the American government. What did the French government tell the U.S. government regarding Moroccan administration?
The Moors, so the Moors could ascend to self-government, right?
No, we're talking about colonialism. This is talking about decolonization, right? So let's talk about colonialism. What created the colonization of the Empire of Morocco, which was confirmed by that correspondence between France and the United States. Remember, I've said this before. You guys know the answer. Regarding the Moroccan administration, that's the hint. I'm gonna drill this in y'all head because this should just roll off your tongue because we've talked about it before, and I keep bringing it up and y'all keep forgetting. I'm gonna bring it up again
This should
because
do it
remember,
this time.
we're dealing with decolonization, so we need to understand what is being decolonized. What's the specific decolonization mechanism? What's supposed to take place, especially as it relates to us, especially as
Oh,
it relates to
yes,
us.
okay. The transfer of power.
There you go. So there was a transfer from the Moroccan administration. That's why I gave you the hint. That's the Moroccan administration to the French administration. You see, that's colonialism. So the French administration took over the Moroccan indigenous administration. Right now, as it relates to the Maghreb, Al-Maghreb, Al-Aqsa, what European country has taken over Moroccan administration? Al-Maghreb, Al-Aqsa, Morocco of the farthest west. What country took over the administration?
France and
France.
France. Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
killing me. Y'all killing me. Okay, let me ask it this
United
way.
States.
Thank you. Because France is not in Al-Maghreb Al-Aqsa, Morris. France is in the east. We're talking about
Well,
Al-Maghreb Al-Aqsa. Go ahead.
it's too. It's ain't it too? Ain't it? Wouldn't it be like double administrative sabotage? Like it both of them did the same thing.
Well, that's what I'm. So it led. Who led it? Who led the transfer of administration? Who led it? Who led that effort?
Hmm.
Huh?
Uh, the French, because they had
Well,
consular court over the United States.
well,
Yeah.
they no, that's not why they led it first because they had the Treaty of Fez.
Right. Okay.
You see, and then they did extra. They did a little too much with the power that they were given under the Treaty of Fez.
Right.
So they led.
Extraterritorial jurisdiction. Correct.
So they led the colonialism efforts, and everyone else followed. Right. But as who? So according to this definition, um, after World War II, European countries generally lacked the wealth. Now we're talking 1912. 1912 is the Treaty of Fez, the French protectorate, the French government. Okay. When was World War II? Let's take a look. 1939 and 1945. That's World War II. So please listen. I hope you guys are listening. Listen to me now. Listen. So it says here, After World War II, European countries generally lacked the wealth and political support necessary to suppress faraway revolts. They also faced opposition from the new superpowers. So, wouldn't the French fall into this category? After World War II, European countries generally lacked the wealth and political support necessary to suppress faraway revolts, right? Because, again, 1939, 1945, it's World War II. The French came into power under the Treaty of Fez regarding the protectorate of the empire in 1912. So from 1912 to 1939, 1945, they were the superpower. You following me? After World War II, who became the superpower? The United States and the Soviet Union. Right? Right or no?
You right.
Right or wrong?
You
Right?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it say. Superpowers, comma, the United States and the
Mhm.
Soviet Union.
Okay. So it was the United States then who became the superpowers, who then did what? Took over the administration of the Moroccan administration in the West. And slowly but surely kept growing and growing and growing to where now America became the superpower of superpowers, the hegemon. You see? And the whole time, they have kept the Moors languished in the corners of American society, exiled on their own homeland as Negroes. So you see where the administration took place? It wasn't just the governance of the land, but it was also the governance over the people. The people in the land are one and the same. The people, the indigenous people, the original inhabitants, sprung from the soil. That's why, Moors, you look like the dirt. Has anyone ever seen white dirt? I ain't talking about sand that belongs in the ocean. No, dirt, the soil on the land, on planet Earth.
Nope, never have.
I ain't never seen either. I've seen all types of brown and red and dark brown and black and all. I've never seen white. So we are the indigenous aboriginal inhabitants. Aboriginal, original, autochthonous, all those words, all of which are adjectives. What is the nationality that denotes all those indigenous statuses on this land? Moroccan, period. Okay, now, so let's go. Now that we have established what colonialism looks like, which is the transfer of administration, decolonization means what then? The administration has to be retransferred, right or wrong.
Right.
So then that
All
means
right.
we must transfer the American administration back to Moroccan administration. We must transfer French administration back to Moroccan administration, and so on and so forth. That ends colonialism as a whole across the board. The complete dismantling of the complete decolonization. Complete decolonization. Which resolution calls for complete decolonization? Which resolution, which international UN resolution calls for a complete decolonization on planet Earth?
Is that 1514?
That's correct. Period. Decolonization, process by which colonies become independent of the colonizing country. Simple as that. It's called independence. It's called the right to self-determination. Something that all humans inherently have. It's an inalienable right. bestowed upon you by your God. I say your God because, we all have these different gods. Some say the Most High, some say Allah, some say Buddha, some say Jesus. I don't know. Take your pick. I don't care. I remain neutral in the matter. It's a secular state. But in the in the in the in the in the fairness of what the empire was and what the Moors were, let's use the word Allah. It has nothing to do with BC building pyramids. That's the time. I'm stuck in that time in that era. I don't know nothing about the modern Bible and Quran. God did not write the Bible. Allah did not write the Quran. It was a council of men who wrote these books. So somebody said that you're going to fast for 2 weeks or however long, for 12 months, because God said so. I don't do religion. My interest is what were we doing in BC? Because ultimately, that's where we find the 10 Commandments. It's the 22 negative confessions of Ma'at. On the pyramid walls is where we find the, what do you call it? Noah's Ark story in hieroglyph form. So what were we worshiping then? See, this is all part of decolonization. Don't think that I'm off the subject. Decolonization is not just a political approach. Decolonization is also a spiritual inner work. You have to utilize the law of Sankofa, reach back to our ancient days. Time never was when man was not, meaning that we have always been here. So we got to reach back to reclaim the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we once had, which is how we built the old world. All these pyramids, all these majestic buildings, arches, domes, pillars, intricate brickwork. That's our skill set. We got to go back to that. These cathedrals were never used as a means of worship and prayer with some so-called middleman under the auspices of some reverend or priest or imam or minister. No. The sacred geometry in these buildings dealt with your spiritual enlightenment by way of the sounds that was emanating from the building. So you go in there, you meditate, you go in chill mode and allow the building to heal you and fine tune your body, your anatomy, your spirituality, your chakra system. And you come out of there elevated, uplifted, ready to take on the world. We lost that. We lost it. We lost our spinach. Popeye lost his spinach. See, Popeye had his spinach. The spinach is what empowered Popeye. Our spinach were our buildings. The buildings itself empowered us, gave us energy. That's Sankofa. We got to go back to that. That's decolonization of the mind. That's decolonization of the spirit. It's not just a political maneuver. It's not just repatriating back to the Empire of Morocco. What does the Treaty of Madrid, Article 15 say? Can somebody give me the paraphrase? Can someone paraphrase Article 15 for me? What does it say?
Any Moroccan subject that has been naturalized in a foreign country has the right to return back home by application or acceding to treaties.
Well, you totally missed one of the words, the most important word. Well, not the most important word, but the most important word to make my point. But
Choose entire
still with my
submission
point.
to the laws of the empire or the obligation to quit Morocco.
No. What's the key word to make this point clear about you have to decolonize as a whole, not partially. It's not a decolonization in part. It's decolonization is in whole.
Oh, with the consent of the Moorish government.
No, sir. Any subject of Morocco
Uh,
who has been naturalized in a foreign country must choose the entire submission to the laws of the empire. In other words, you can't be a halfway crook. You can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Either you all the way in or you're all the way out. That's not just your physical body. That's not just your political status. That's also your consciousness, your spirituality, your knowledge of self. It starts there, actually. Before you could even recognize the need to repatriate, you first must have to come to the realization as to who the hell you are so that you can stop sinning. How are the Moors sinning? What is the sin? We talked about this. We talked about this during the Noble Drew Ali birthday thing we did. Because Noble Drew Ali spoke on the sin of the Moors. He came to redeem the Moors of their sin. What is the sin? Somebody remembers? Not honoring thy foremothers and forefathers, which then makes it to where your days on the planet Earth will be short because you're not honoring your foremothers and forefathers. How is it that we're not honoring our foremothers and forefathers? What's the sin? It caused the Moroccan nationality to be obsolete and without effect. Yes or no? What's the sin? Okay. Are your ancestors black? Are your ancestors Negroes? Are your ancestors African Americans? That's a question for the floor.
Oh,
No.
No, I understand they're not.
Okay. So then you're descendants of what?
Moroccan.
Okay. So therefore, identifying yourself as anything other than a Moroccan or a Moor is a sin because your foremothers, your ancient foremothers and forefathers did not identify as such. You see? You see? So you have to stop committing that sin. That's a spiritual sin. So when Noble Drew Ali said, "You are the founders and true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire," that was his way of redeeming you of your sins. Because it's your job, obligation, it is a mandate to repatriate back to the Empire of Morocco. Okay. So after World War II, European countries generally lacked the wealth and political support necessary to suppress faraway revolts. They also faced opposition from the new powers, superpowers, the US and the Soviets. Now listen to this, both of which had taken positions against colonialism. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Come on. I can say that for Soviet Union, but I can't say that at all about the United States. Come on. Come on. Let's keep it real. Why we got to be lying? It can be proven. How did you end up with Guam? How did you end up with Hawaii? It was called the Kingdom of Hawaii. You done took Hawaii. So what the hell you mean? They have taken a position against colonialism. You're colonizing the Moors right now in real time. But what have I been telling you all? What is the United States, as it relates to the black man in America, what is the United States recognized as? What kind of a country? I've been speaking about this for a while now. No. Recognized as of today. What is the narrative today? A racist country.
oh yeah, right.
They're racist. Trump is a racist. As if Biden is any better. He's the one who wrote the crime bill. No one has that narrative around him. At any rate, Trump is a racist. The police are racist. Everyone is a racist. The KKK, everything is racist. Racism, racism, racist, racist. So have I not been telling you all And we see that Great Britain has assisted them in this narrative. Have I not been telling you all that they have done a good job at getting away from the narrative of them being a colonist? Have I not been saying that?
Yep.
Because the Encyclopedia Britannica, as an example, which is a Britain book, they're supporting the United States by saying, oh, they were against colonialism. No, to hell they wasn't. But that's part of the discussion. We got to keep the United States away from the light of colonialism. So what is my position on that? We got to call them out for who they are. So because racism is a black argument. That's a low level argument. There's no answers to that argument. But it's just merely a manifestation of the foundational colonialism. So if racism is a black argument, then what's the Moroccan argument?
Colony,
Colony.
racist,
Huh?
the colonists, loyal colonists, matter of fact.
Colonialism.
Yeah.
So then, is Trump a racist or is Trump a colonist?
He's a colonist.
Thank you very much. I don't care about you being racist. I don't care about you being racist. You can be racist all you want. Keep that in the closet because there will be Moroccan legislation to prevent the KKK from marching the streets, showcasing their racism. You see? That's where the power of the pen comes in. But if there's colonialism that's in the way, the colonialism is what's suppressing the Moorish rise so that they can now write legislation. See, colonialism is the cancer, not racism. You can be, I hate the Moors all you want, I hate the black men all you want in the comfort of your home. You just make sure at the end of the year write that check. Because consular court gonna come after you, the Sharif gonna come after you. Write that check. You owe taxes. You can mumble, bitch and moan and complain, but just make sure you write that check. You see, under colonialism, you have to deal with racism and colonialism. They're suppressing your rise while at the same time flaunting their racist activities in your face, marching up and down the street with their hoods on. Which, by the way, that whole ensemble that they wear comes from Moorish Spain. There's nothing that they have that belongs to them. So they're colonists. However, they're telling us in the Britannica that they're not colonists. Soviet Union, on the other hand, yes, we can say that about the Soviet Union. They don't have territories, and as a matter of fact, they're assisting the global South with their colonialism problem, along with China. But you can't say the same for the United States. Hell no. They're the biggest colonist. But they said that they were in against colonialism. See, that's the narrative that they've been pushing. They've been keeping themselves out of that discussion. But who's going to bring up that discussion? Who's going to bring that discussion to light? The Empire of Morocco. That's part of our Operation Political Swarm, which is to bring awareness to the colonial activities of the United States against the Moors of the West. Because that conversation, that narrative has been buried and has been turned into racism, bigotry. No. Colonialism, extraterritoriality. That's what the hell is going on. Tell me nothing about racism. I don't care nothing about racism. Everyone is racist. It's a racist society, so therefore everyone is brought up as racist. That doesn't change the fact. What changes the fact is decolonization. There is no such thing as de-racism, is there? But there is such a thing as decolonization, isn't there? And we're talking about it right now. This is the reason why colonialism is the question, not racism. So we see that they're trying to tell us that the U.S. and the Soviet Union both had taken a position against it. Korea was freed in 1945 by Japan's defeat in the war. The U.S. relinquished the Philippines in 1946. But hold up, didn't you just say that they was against colonialism? You see this? They just said that they was against colonialism, yet they relinquished the Philippines in 1946. which means that they were colonizing the Philippines in 1946. But you just finished saying that the United States had taken a position against colonialism. You see the J. Bay fork tonguing? That's him right there. Double talked, right? Britain left India in 1947, Palestine in 1948, and Egypt in 1956. We talked about, we went over Egypt when William II, of the Emperor of Germany, was it was in the discussions with with the French Republic. That's what it was in the discussion with. We're gonna take Egypt, and you could have Morocco and all this is what the conversation was. So they left it in 1956, all of which is still under what's called neo-colonialism. It withdrew from Africa in the 1950s and 60s, but still left their imprint as neo-colonialism. From various islands protectorates in the 1970s and 80s, and from Hong Kong in 1997. There was colonizing the whole world. The French left Vietnam in 1954 and gave up its North African colonies by 1962. But what about Burkina Faso? What about Niger? What about Mali? You see? We ain't talking about those. Portugal gave up its African colonies in the 1970s. What about Brazil? And I don't see nothing here about Spain. So decolonization is still an open process, isn't it, Moors? Yes or no?
Yes, it is.
Islam.
All right. So decolonization is the ending of colonialism, the latter being the process whereby imperial nations establish and dominate foreign territories, often overseas. So Portugal is in Europe, Brazil is in South Morocco, and properly known as South America. That's overseas. Is the United States overseas? Or is the United States right here on our own land with us? We're in bed together, aren't we? They came into our home and they gave us the attic. And they're in all the bedrooms and the living rooms and the dining rooms and the garage and the basement with the big screen TV. We're in the attic. When it's in the middle of the summer, it's hot as hell up there. When it's in the middle of the winter, it's cold as hell up there. We're in the attic. And it's our home. But while being in the attic, we started doing what? Snooping around the documents up there and found a deed. And that deed said Moroccan. And we still didn't catch on because we didn't know we were Moroccan. We thought we were black. They're in our home. And we're not sharing habitation. We're being denied the bathroom, the living room, the kitchen. We're stuck in the attic, languished in the corners of American society where we find ourselves exiled on our own homeland. The latter being the process whereby imperial nations establish and dominate foreign territories. So, the United States of America is in Morocco, which means Morocco is a foreign territory to America. Are they dominating, right? Are they not dominating our territories, which is foreign to them? So we can prove that they're colonizing us. Yet Britannica said that there was against colonialism. Yet at the same time, they said that they colonized the Philippines. Come on. They don't do too much of a good job with their fork tonguing, do they? Just like JP. The meanings and applications of the term are disputed. Some scholars of decolonization focus especially on independence movements in the colonies and the collapse of global colonial empires, such as it already happened to Great Britain. Who's next? Their kids. Who are they? The Americans. They're next. It's not sustainable. And even worse, when you're dealing with a class of people that enjoyed prowess in the fields. We're a hell of a people. But I'll say it again. The United States is not Goliath. They're not the giant. Goliath is yourself, Moors. David is you too. You are the slave and the master. What you looking for? You're the question and the answer, right? As a movement to establish independence for colonized territories from their respective metropoles, decolonization began in 1775. 1775. With the American Revolution in North America against the British Empire. Really? Really? You see the misinformation? This is egregious. They said that decolonization began in 17. So they're saying that the United States was the first country to decolonize in 1775 away from the British Empire. Come on, man. Didn't they say that they were the loyal colonists?
They did.
They are the colonists. So why they decolonize? No, what they did was they established themselves as separate from Great Britain and started colonizing as the Americans, while Great Britain was colonizing as the Great Britain. That's what the hell happened. They didn't decolonize. You're not indigenous here. Huh? What? Anyway, the Napoleonic Wars in the 19th century saw the French colonial empire, the Spanish Empire, and Portugal face decolonization with the Haitian Revolution. So French, Spanish, Portugal, signatory powers. Haitian Revolution, Haiti, Haiti, Moroccan. The Spanish-American Wars of Independence. Really? And the independence of Brazil from Portugal. Come on. So why has there never been a so-called black Brazilian president? All of them are Portuguese. Hybrid Portuguese at that. Not even Moorish Portuguese. Hybrid. You see? This is what we're up against, more misinformation. Lies and deceit. A major wave of decolonization occurred in aftermath of the First World War, including in the United States. But I thought that the United States was against colonialism. And the Empire of Japan. Another wave of decolonization occurred after the Second World War, and many countries gained their independence in the following years. The last wave of decolonization occurred after the Cold War with the collapse of the Soviet Union, right? Because all those stands, Ukraine and the Uzbekistan and all them stands, all them 15 countries that were once part of the Soviet Union, they broke away and became each one of them their own independent countries, right? And then the Soviet Union became the Russian Federation, which is just that big landmass above, and then you have all these little pieces below that. Those little pieces are those other countries that supposedly gained their independence, right? The last wave of decolonization occurred at the Cold War with the collapse of the Soviet Union, the independence of Palau, and the handovers of Hong Kong and Macau. 17 territories remain under the United Nations classification of non-self-governing territories since 1960. So what was going to happen with those 17 nations? That doesn't include the Empire of Morocco, Morris. That doesn't include the empire. So what are we going to do about it? We're going to roll up our sleeves and handle business? Or we're going to continue within this shallow grave, laying up in the grave, allowing him to govern our affairs and steal our vast estate? What are we going to do? We're going to keep fighting each other? Are we going to keep trying to coup d'etat each other? Are we going to not find unity, loyalty, conformity, and obedience amongst each other? Because without the unity, we can't make it happen. It's not going to work. And we have been showing over and over and over that we lack unity. Which leads me to the second question. Coup d'etat. I mean, it wasn't even a full, 2 years. Let me see, we're in 2026. Yeah, 2 years. It wasn't a full 2 years, and we already got a coup going on. Failed coup. What was the presentment? What was the argument from the removed seditious judge? Keep in mind, it's him who led the effort, not the House of Sayarajas, not even the wazirs. No legislator or wazir called for my impeachment, fraudulent impeachment. It was a judge, a subordinate judge. I mean, like, he is like super subordinate to me as the Sultan. He's a nobody to me, not the office. Of course, I respect the Moorish judicial authority. But the point that I'm making is, who's below the Sultan? The Prime Minister. That's the next one in line. Who's next? The Speaker. Who's next? The Chief Judge. So he's below the Prime Minister and the Speaker. That's why he's super subordinate. It's no disrespect to the office, but it's to put things in its proper perspective as to who led the coup d'etat. And the coup d'etat was led with the narrative that I'm performing a coup d'etat. Exactly what he did to the first AMPAC government under the leadership of Wazir Dawood Habib El, and I forgot his other name, David Taylor. That's his more subject name. But Habib, no, Dawood Habib El. David Habib El. Dawood is David, right? Anyhow, that was the Wazir. This is how they became AMPAC 2.0. He spun the narrative that Wazir, the head of government, or should I say the head of state, he was the head of state at the time, because there was no empire. So he was the head of state for the state of AMPAC. This fool said that he was conducting a coup d'etat. Well, me and my naivete, just learning statehood, fell for the banana in the tailpipe, just like everyone else has when it came on to me. The problem with everyone else is they've already seen this playbook. Isaac saw this playbook. Watson Ali saw this playbook. A lot of them saw this playbook. And they're literally seeing him play that same playbook against me. See, you're no longer ignorant. You're no longer naive. You know better. You've already been through it. You already seen it. You acting like you don't know what's going on, which makes your complicity even more egregious. You see? So it was said that I was conducting a coup. Okay. What is a coup d'etat? Well, a sudden, violent, and unlawful seizure of power from a government. A coup. A military coup d'etat brought down the government. Right? Let's go to this definition here. Let's go to Wikipedia real quick. A coup d'etat, stroke of state, or simply a coup, is typically an illegal and overt attempt by a military organization. It's usually a military organization or other government elites to unseat an incumbent person or leadership. That's what a coup d'etat is. They didn't say that I was conducting a self-coup. They said that I was conducting a coup d'etat. Okay. For those of you who need the reference point, it's on the record. I told Trump go back and take a look at it. And I'm gonna tell y'all to go back and take a look at it. What is the title for the AMPAC, the Cartoon Network AMPAC study session number 174? What is the title to that? Somebody tell me, please. Go look it up. I'll wait. The Sultan's failed coup attempt. It's on the record. I'm not making this stuff up. It's on the record. It says the Sultan's failed coup attempt. It said that I was trying to conduct a coup d'etat. Okay. Let's read it again. In case it went over everyone's head. What does it say?
You.
Read it. Go ahead, read it.
Excuse me. From the top or just
no, just from right here. A coup right here. From right here.
A coup d'etat. A coup d'etat. French.
Just skip past that. Skip past all that. Yeah.
Okay. This stroke or simply a coup is typically an illegal and over attempt by a military organization or other government elites to unseat an incumbent person or leadership.
Okay. So disregard military organization, disregard or other government elites. Because we're talking about me. So clearly I'm not a military organization. And I guess I'm a government elite because I'm the Sultan. But it doesn't, that's not what government elite means. A more better government elite, a more better example of a government elite is AMPAC 2.0. That's what a government elite is.
Yeah. You can't overthrow yourself.
Okay, so then what else does it say? But
What's
so that's why I say
mean?
disregard the entities, military organization, government elites. What is the purpose? Read that right there.
To unseat an incumbent person or leadership.
Who was the incumbent person or leader?
You.
Come on, man.
Right, the Sultan. But what does incumbent mean? I can't remember what that word means.
Incumbent just means that you took the office.
Okay.
So when Trump became president, he now became the incumbent president.
Right.
The new successor to the throne or the seat.
See what he said?
So they said, according to Class 174, they said that I was trying to unseat myself.
Right.
I don't know if they're stupid or dumb over there, but they're one of the two.
No, that is too funny.
Oh my God.
That's what
That is
174
crazy.
says.
Yeah, that is what it say.
That's what it says.
A point of interest.
The Sultan attempted to unseat himself.
Yeah.
And that means
point of interest. Point of interest. But this is why I wanted the Sultan to go over it again, because we see now October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months later, everyone on this call 6 months ago were not understanding it. 6 months later, with more erudition, teaching, classes, clarity, now you're laughing at it. 6 months ago, you were not, because you didn't really fully understand what was actually happening. Now it's funny. What's funny? What's funny is that some of y'all actually almost fell for it at first. But because now we're 6 months later and your erudition is so much higher, it's funny to the fact that they even would try it. I yield.
And this is not the first time I went over this definition. It wasn't funny then, it's funny now.
Yeah.
Because the dust has settled. and I'm about to stir it all back up. It's about to get dusty again. Oh, I'm not done. I just fell back for a little bit, only to come back again. See, we have to focus on certain things, right? Somebody ought to mute themselves, please. We have to focus on certain things for this past 5 months. A lot of those things are coming together now. We're about to pull the trigger on the political storm, the Operation Political Swarm, right? Heavy correspondence. You're getting ready to bombard the international community with our correspondence. You got a lot of letters lined up. And currently, we're working on the final 13 letters, which is to the signatory powers. Mm-hmm. Yes, 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 yes. That's what's going on. So they said, not even they, he said, the silver fork-tongued snake, the demon, the sociopathic, narcissist, criminal, Jermaine Diaz Spencer, said that I was trying to unseat myself. Hilarious. Boy, I know he is feeling some type of way that I ain't gone nowhere and that all y'all are over here. Oh, he feels some type of way. He big mad. That's why he's coming after the AG with his foolishness. He big mad. He is in a state of turmoil. You hear what I'm telling you. I live rent-free in his dome. So let's look at what a self-coup is. A self-coup is said to take place when a leader, having come to power through legal means, tries to stay in power through illegal means. Well, that's why he didn't say self-coup, because he can't prove that. He can't prove neither. In fact, he was better off doing self-coup. Because to say that I was conducting a coup d'etat is actually like, not only is it extra stupid, but it's asinine. I'm trying to unseat myself. Self-coup is said to take place when a leader, having come to power through legal means, tries to stay in power through illegal means. Like, I don't know, let's say change the Constitution unbeknownst to everyone else and give myself an extra year or two. That's a good example. So then when year 7 comes, I ain't leave, and everybody like, what going on? I'm like, man, I got 2 more years. You didn't see the Constitution? And now an investigation must take place because where how that happened? And then it's found that I'm the one who inserted that language to give myself an extra year or two to do what? Stay in power. Tries to stay in power through illegal means. Well, I'm only 2 years in, so I have no reason to try to stay in power. I'm trying to I'm trying to complete the mission still. What do you mean I'm trying to stay in? So you can't say I'm trying to stay in power. So you didn't say self-coup. But what did you say? You said a coup d'etat. I'm trying to unseat myself.
Yeah,
That's what class
that gotta be
174
the
said.
dumbest. Yeah, that gotta be
But
the dumbest.
yeah, yeah, I mean, it's like, but that's what you call a knee-jerk reaction. The same thing he would warn against. That's exactly what he did. He was caught off
All
guard.
right.
He didn't expect for me to know what I needed to do. I don't know who he thought he was dealing with. I don't know who he thought he was dealing with. But all I did was submit an affidavit calling for an investigation. Did I want him removed? You daggone right. So someone asked the prime minister a question about all this whole constitutional procedure necessary to remove a judge, which we suspect, and we can tell by the language, that is Jermaine Diaz Spencer operating in a covert manner. This is the kind of crap he does, and I know he does it because I've been down with him doing it. We used to go into Ras Mariah meetings covertly and troll her, ask her questions, things of that nature. So I already know his playbook. I know him more than he thinks I know him. So I'm pretty sure that that's that guy. That's him. So he's trying, but the question is being asked for everyone to see, or perhaps it was a DM. I'm not sure. But the question was, how could I remove the judge by violating these articles? You see, we have to be clear. My affidavit. Let me pull it up. Shoot. How do I fix this? Everything is behind. Right, we'll find it here. Okay. Is this it? Think it's this one. Let's go over it. There we go. So, my affidavit, October 1st, the Mo, Larry, and Curly, the three stooges, appear in this affidavit by name. So, did I want him removed? You damn right I wanted that fool gone, because I already started to see what was going on with him. But under normal operation, in other words, absent of a state of emergency or having to utilize your emergency powers for 30 days, there's a procedure that has to take place. You don't just remove someone. Okay. This is what my affidavit is calling for. Someone please read these 5 bullet points.
I got it, Sultan.
Please do.
1, immediately commits a formal and exhaustive investigation into these allegations.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Let's do this. Back up a little bit. Start reading from here.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Their conduct establishes a pattern of defiance, collusion, and breach of confidentiality that strikes at the very heart of our constitutional democracy. Therefore, by the powers inherent in my office and my duty to preserve the empire from all threats, both foreign and domestic, I hereby command the Constitutional Council to immediately.
Pause. And then, but stay right there, AG.
Mm-hmm.
What administrative authority did I call for? Did I call upon?
The Constitutional Council.
Oh. Okay. Go back up a little bit. No. Yeah. It's below that. It's below that. Sorry about that, Morris. I haven't looked at my affidavit in quite some time. So I called on the Constitutional Council. So what do I need the Constitutional Council to do? Not me. The Constitutional Council. That's who oversees the judicial branch. Yes or no, AG?
Yes.
Okay. In the absence of the Constitutional Council, who's the placeholder until we're able to establish that institution? Who is it?
That's yourself.
No. That would be the judges. See, in the absence of the Constitutional Council, the other, right, the only other administrator will be the judges or the High Court, but really the judges. Okay? Because the High Court deals with the executive branch and the legislative branch. The judges deal with the judges. Okay. So what am I asking the Constitutional Council to do? Go ahead, brother. The bullet points.
Okay. Immediately commence a formal and exhaustive investigation into these allegations.
Mm-hmm.
Suspend these officials pending the conclusion of this investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Summon the named officials Nova Ilu Il, DeAndre Dre Bay, and J. Jermaine Bay to provide sworn testimony before the council.
Mm-hmm.
Issue a binding ruling on the constitutionality of these actions with all possible speed.
Mm-hmm.
Recommend to me the full measure of constitutional and disciplinary measures warranted, up to and including removal from office and criminal prosecution, to cleanse our government of this corruption and restore the constitutional order.
Read that last statement down here.
A Moroccan judge of the empire must be impartial, honest, upright, and honorable. And J. Jermaine Bay fails at these necessary attributes.
And I will say it again till the day that I die. Thank you, AG. Excellent read. Is that not fair enough? So I want him removed. You see it here, removal from office. But I already know that I'm not a monarch. I don't have the authority to say you're fired. Not to a judge. A judge is not just to be removed like that, not according to the Constitution. So I left that up to the administrative office. Let me see. That it wasn't even down there. Um. Uh. This action detail hearing by Secretary of Government. Da, 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 da. It was calling for the specific um offices somewhere in the affidavit, or it might have been in a different document. No, it should have been in the affidavit because I said any I called for whoever needed to oversee this case, and it wasn't just the High Council; it was any administrative office. I don't see I don't see where. Perhaps I'll come across it at some point, but no worries. I'll just keep moving forward with the whole point here. So what I'm saying is, immediately commence a formal and exhaustive investigation into these allegations. So if I want someone removed, the first step is an investigation. If I want someone like a judge removed, if you're a let's say Minister of Foreign Affairs, upon consultation, I can fire you. It's not even a removal thing. You're fired. I have to consult with the Prime Minister and even the Speaker. But then if my final decision is to fire you, then you up out of there. That's not the same case for a judge. It's not the same case for a speaker. It's not the same case for a prime minister. You can't just remove those folks. The speaker is elected. The prime minister is also he's appointed, but he has certain protections, and so do the judges. You see, so you don't just remove a judge. So you go through the procedures. Immediately commence a formal and exhaustive investigation into these allegations. That's the first step, is to conduct an investigation. Suspend. This is normal stuff. You can't be under investigation and still working at the job. You will be put on a suspension until the conclusion of the investigation to determine if you should even keep your job or not. If it turns out that you're innocent, you get your job back. If it turns out that you're guilty, kick rocks. So it's nothing. This is nothing out of the ordinary. He tried to say that I tried to remove the prime. He said, but the letter or the affidavit was specific. It says suspend these officials pending the conclusion of this investigation. Summon the named officials, the Three Stooges. And I'm only saying that because he started it. He called us the Three Stooges, and I respond to him by letting him know the only Mo, Curly, and Larry that's known to the empire are those who appeared in my affidavit by name. That's this right here. Curly. No, that ain't Curly. No, that could be Curly. Larry and Mo. Jermaine Bay is Mo. To provide sworn testimony before the council. So you need to bring them in, summon them in, because I'm bringing an allegation against them. And I think that I'm well within my rights and authority as the Sultan to do that. This is not an abuse of power, and it certainly isn't a coup d'etat. It's an affidavit calling for an investigation against AMPAC 2.0. This right here is AMPAC 2.0. These three stooges right here, that's AMPAC 2.0. That's AMPAC 2.0, those three names. So I want the Constitutional Council or any competent administration of the empire, institution, or what have you, to summon these. We're supposed to do this together. We're all supposed to come together and say, okay, the Sultan is the higher authority. He called for an investigation. We shall uphold his request. Not he's overthrowing the government. Not he's conducting himself as a monarch. Not, oh, he's a dictator. Oh, he owes me money. What the hell that got to do with anything? Okay? And I don't give a damn. What I owe you? One thing doesn't have to do with the other. Boy, I tell you one thing, y'all don't want to do something good for me and then do something grimy and unlawful and think that I'm just going to cover for you because you did something. No, one thing has nothing to do with the other, sir, ma'am. You better watch it with me. I ain't the one to play those games. And the FAFO, didn't they? They messed around and found out messing with me. I am not. I don't care. See, Dre, if y'all ever remember that blue suit with the red tie that he be wearing, that was a $1,500 custom-made suit that was bought and paid for by Jermaine Diaz Spencer for Dre. This is the reason why he has his tail tucked between his legs for Jay. He feels as though he owes him something. See, Jay tried to put me in a status in which I must feel that I owe him something because he, you know, mentored me and taught me things and this, that. And I don't care. You can buy me the suit today. But tomorrow, if you disrespect me, I will take the suit off and throw it in your face. That's how I get down. I don't care what you did for me. Respect comes first. And I'm a man about mine. And Jermaine Diaz Spencer learned that about me. And that's how I became a monarch. I don't know who he thought he was dealing with, but I'm not no Dre. And I'm certainly not no tumbleweed Kendon, because he's just another puppet. He'll have his hands all up in his back. You know how he talks. Man can't even enunciate and pronounce his words. He's so not well spoken. It's embarrassing. He is an embarrassment to the empire to speak publicly like that. He needs to shut up somewhere. And that's why it's good for them to have put a muzzle on him with that social media policy that they was trying to put on me. They put it on him. Yeah, he needs to go sit down somewhere. Nobody needs to hear him talk. It's a shame. It's shameful. Issue a binding ruling on the constitutionality of these actions with all possible speed. We can't hold up the government. So the AG said, as the consul general at the time, he said, we're going to do this within 14 days. Shut down the government within 14 days, pending this investigation. No one wanted to cooperate. They excommunicated him. They excommunicated Akil. They excommunicated me. So let me get this straight. Jermaine Diaz Spencer in AMPAC 2.0 told everyone, don't talk to the person that you elected as the Sultan, the head of state. Don't talk to him. And everyone said, yes, Chief, whatever you say, Chief. Okay, Chief, you're brilliant, Chief. You're Noble Juali, Chief. Whatever you say goes, Chief. So the whole time, I guess the Chief was the Sultan now, wasn't he? Because he gave down a directive and everyone followed along with it. And that directive was against the head of state. Sedition. Recommend to me the full measure of constitutional and disciplinary measures warranted, up to and including removal from office. Yes, Jay, I want you gone. I'm your boss. But I can't just do it that way. I need the council to come with that judgment. And criminal prosecution, yes, for sedition, to cleanse our government of this corruption and restore the constitutional order, because the constitutional order was out of order because of Jermaine Diaz Spencer. This is me conducting a coup d'etat against the government. This right here, this affidavit. This is why he got in his feelings. This is the reason why he started acting irrational. This is the reason why he couldn't come up with nothing but, oh, he's trying to conduct a coup d'etat. Let's just do that. Let's just do a coup d'etat. It worked last time. Let's try it again. And Monica, the Castilian, and Dre was like, okay, let's see. And they thought they had me because he had already took the time to get ahead of the narrative back in June. But when he was starting to carry this narrative of me being this monarch, he started convincing everyone that I'm a monarch. So then when the time came, he was like, you see, I told you, he's a monarch. No, I'm a monarch. I'm a monarch to you. I became a monarch when he started to realize that his words fell empty. I started losing respect for him, slowly but surely. You don't want that to happen with me. I started noticing things about him. My third eye started opening up. And then what did the Castilian say? Curly over there. What did she say? Let's go to it. Right here. Right here. Where is it at? Where is it? Ooh, okay. No, further up. I just saw it. There we go. Usurpation of sovereign authority. During a recorded meeting of the Wazir Council on the 20th day of June, this was in June 2025, the individual, Monica Ortega, I don't recognize that name. That's a Moorish name. You're a Castilian. No, I don't know that name. Monica Ortega made the statement, AMPAC don't play that. This statement, in its context and delivery, clearly implies that the state of AMPAC holds a position of authority or sovereignty over the policies and operations of the Empire of Morocco and its government. This is a profound and seditious act, as it explicitly denies the absolute sovereign authority of the Sultan as mandated by Article 10 of the Constitution. Suggests allegiance to AMPAC as a shadow government rather than the empire as the sovereign authority. Attempts to intimidate government officials by invoking a foreign power. Okay. Let's check this out here. Where is it? Sorry, Morris, I got to do this funny business thing because my Zoom thing is weird. Okay, right here. Trying to go to the other page. Right here. All right, so let's do this. Here's another self-coup meaning. We're not going to go over that. Let's look up the word sedition. Does anyone know what sedition means? Somebody read that for me. I'll read it. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. Conduct or speech inciting. AMPAC don't play that. Is that not a statement or a speech that incites rebellion against the Sultan?
Right.
Islam, it incites rebellion and division.
Okay. Incitement of resistance to or insurrection against lawful authority. So in that meeting, when she made that statement, all the Sayyarahas was in that meeting, all the Wazirs was in that meeting, all the judges were in that meeting. Because I asked for all of them to be present. Because if you listen to the recording, on the front end of the recording, I opened up the discussion with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It was supposed to be a vile discussion because I had it up to here with Jermaine. And I thought proper to say, I'm going to be a politician here. I'm going to come with something that's not expected. I'm coming with love. They thought I was coming to chop his head off. No, I came with love. And I started to, because I really honestly had an epiphany the night before. Like, you know what? These are the traps of colonialism. This is leading to the lack of unity. Let me try to bring about unity. Let me take this opportunity to turn this poison into medicine. So that's exactly what I did. So if initially it was supposed to be just me, Makara, Dre, and him. I said, now bring everybody on, including Monica, because I wanted everyone to see that me as the Sultan had the ability to do something that was very important as a leader. That is, to turn poison into medicine. That is a very important thing that you got to be able to do. Anything that's negative, anything that's unfavorable, we can find something positive in it and bring that energy. And that's what I did. And it was successful at first. And I made a mistake, which wasn't a mistake. But this is what Jure would like to say, that I made a mistake. Because when we were getting ready to close out, I said, no, I want to hear what everyone's position on the matter. This is when Monica came off mute. And her problem was because I called him a snake in a previous Wazir Council meeting. And she was calling for an apology. I think not. If I don't apologize, it's because I stand on it. If I say something out of order, that you can show and prove to me that I was out of order, I embarrassed you, or whatever the case might be, I will apologize. I am a very accountable person. I have shown and proved that over the years, many times over. If I don't give you an apology, you got a problem. So I refused it. No, I'm not giving him an apology. I stand on what I said. He is a damn snake, period. So that's what had her upset. That's her sultan. And this is when she proceeded to make those statements. Talking about all types of other stuff. I'm not doing my work and this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. But AMPAC don't play that. What else did she say? Back to the affidavit. What else did she say? Back to the affidavit. AG, please read some of the things that she had to say. Are you there with me, good brother?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
Start up here on patriotic threats.
Unpatriotic threats and personal allegiance. On the 29th day of June, 2025, following the aforementioned meeting, the same official, Novi Lu L, engaged in a text message communication with a government official. Within this exchange, she made the following statements, which I hereby enter into record. I am giving him one last chance to do right by Jay, quote unquote. This statement reveals that her primary loyalty is not to the Sultan or the Constitution, but to a personal allegiance with Chief Judge J. Jermaine Bey. It demonstrates that her official actions are guided by a desire to serve this personal faction, making her unfit for the high office of the Executive Chief of Staff.
Pause right there, AG. I appreciate that. Moors, if which she did, I got the text message. I wouldn't have put together this affidavit if I didn't have the hard evidence in the matter. Right? I am giving him one last chance to do right by Jay Moores. What that sound like? Doesn't that sounds exactly as I'm presenting in this affidavit? This statement reveals that her primary loyalty is not to the Sultan or to the Constitution, but to a personal allegiance with Chief Judge J. Jermaine Bey. Is that not an accurate statement? Assuming that she said this. Let's assume she said it now, which is it's in a text message. Assuming she said that. Is that not her loyalty to him and not the Sultan and the Empire and the Constitution? Yes or no?
No, that's
She
a
showing
yes.
loyalty to Jay Bay,
So therefore, that's a seditious statement,
not the
isn't it?
Sultan and the Constitution.
Therefore, that's a seditious statement too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Go ahead, continue to the next bullet point, good brother AG.
Quote unquote. You about to get that ass spanked.
Uh-huh.
This is an ambiguous and vulgar threat directed at His Majesty the Sultan. Such behavior is unbecoming of any public servant, let alone one of the most senior officials in the executive branch. It creates an environment of intimidation and fear, undermining the orderly and lawful administration of the government.
Morris, anyone that's been a part of the Impact 2.0 journey, was there not intimidation and fear lingering amongst all of you? Buck, DJ, or anyone who's been a part of it?
Yes, it's always a little fear in me because I mean, look who you're up against. These crazy people. I call them crazy people, but you know, but it's not gonna stop me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's yeah, and it shouldn't. But the real point is that they have created an environment of intimidation and fear.
Right.
That's
Point
been
of
the whole thing.
privilege. Point of privilege.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was with BC too when one of the wazirs had called uh, Nova a secretary, and Jay came off mic, cursed the brother. Might as well had to curse the brother out, and told him that he would be put out of his government. Does everybody remember that?
Yeah, that was DJ
Yes,
Alexander
that
he was
was
talking to.
DJ Alexander. I was on that call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so what were they doing? Protecting one another? I didn't get
Yeah.
it. At that point, is like, well, the best thing to say, my Wazir Buck, is nothing. We say nothing when we're on these Monday night hometown meetings. Just say nothing because they're gonna
get at us anyway about you didn't do this, you didn't do that. This is wrong. That's wrong. Like they had a personal problem with BC. We was just trying to do our work. We was trying to get where we needed to go to become nationals. I mean, that's what everybody was there for. But all these programs, more academy, you got to finish this, you got to finish that, just on and on and on and on and on. It was like we was at the point like, hey, when are we gonna be recognized? We're at the point where we're all trying to hold on without giving up. It was getting that bad. And Sultan, I'm glad you stepped in and did what you did. Call that emergency situation, getting rid of these clowns so we can move on, so we can be de jure government, so we can move on to be the people that's moving forward to create. Who's gonna write the papers? We're gonna write the papers. We don't have to worry about this anymore. It was at the point like, why am I attending these meetings? Because only thing they're gonna just talk about, you didn't finish this box, you didn't finish that box, just on and on and on and on. Oh well, everybody need to read. We gotta hear everybody's voice to make sure that you didn't put it in PDF, you didn't download it properly. It's like, what does that have to do with decolonization? Somebody tell me. It has nothing to do with decolonization. That was the whole main objective, is to decolonize. But I yield, and thank you.
It's a one word. It's a one word. It's a word. One word. Is it one word? It is one word. What is it called? Gate. Gate.
The gatekeeper.
There you go.
Keeper.
Gatekeeping. Third bullet point, AG, please. AG, are you
Quote
there?
unquote, the
Yes,
Sultan
you go.
said, quote
Mhm.
unquote, the Sultan said some shit on a recorded line. This statement reveals two potential high crimes. First, it suggests the existence of recorded conversation with me and without my prior knowledge or consent, which would be a gross violation of privacy and state security. Second, her casual and disrespectful tone in referencing referencing the sovereign is an unpatriotic act and demonstrates a profound lack of respect for the office of the Sultan.
Now, didn't they show that? Didn't they show you that with their actions? I was excommunicated. The Sultan, the head of. Imagine Trump being excommunicated from the whole government, or Biden, or any president. Come on. That's a profound lack of respect for the office and the Sultan. So why should we have, so excuse me about that. So why should we have this Castilian around? Why do I call her a Castilian? Does anyone know? Does anyone need clarity as to why I call this woman a
She's a
Castilian?
descendant of Queen Isabella.
What house, what royal house was Queen Isabella from? The Castilians. Remember, she's the Castile, she's the Queen Isabella of Castile, and King Ferdinand was of Aragon. So he was the Aragon house and she was the Castilian. So that's why I call it a Castilian. In other words, an enemy who at first I thought was more like, okay, it's the clock of destiny. What y'all did then, you got to right the wrongs today. No, what you did yesterday, you're doubling down on today. It showed in their action. Look at all the stuff she said. She said, I'm gonna get my ass spanked. She said that I better get it right with Jay. Get what right with Jay? What I need to get? You see, this is what I'm telling y'all. The moment that I started showing resistance to Jay Bay is when I became a monarch. Is when I became a problem. Is when I became a coup d'etat. Now I want to overthrow the government. The moment that I started giving him pushback, The moment that I started to stand up to him, the moment that I started to put him in his damn place, he's a damn snake. Slick, but not slick enough. Because, see, it's all based on deceit, which is not sustainable. Corruption is not sustainable. Why do you think that the United States is getting ready to fall? If the United States was an honorable nation, doing things in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, they would not be nowhere near losing their power. There would still be in fact, it would be the empire of the United States working hand in hand. But because they're so corrupt, because they're so disrespectful, is why they're starting to lose their power, starting to decay slowly but surely. They have no respect. So what are we doing this for? I'm supposed to be just a placeholder. But this is what she said. I better get it right with Jay. See, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Everything was all good. Everything was all good till the Sultan, the head of state, the boss of all bosses, the HNIC. And it's not no arrogant talk, because I don't carry that on my shoulders like that. I'm just that dude. But in these types of conversations, I have to flex the authority because they tried to circumvent it. For the moment that I started to stand up, the moment that I started to give pushback to Jay, slowly but surely, I was easing up on him. I was creeping up on him. He knew it. He felt it. He saw it. Man, he's creeping up on me. So before all this, he started to do what? Okay. Complicity of the judiciary. Go back a little bit. Read, AG, please read. Let's go here. Unauthorized dissemination of confidential information.
Unauthorized dissemination of confidential information. Further compounding this violation, Prime Minister DeAndre Drabak improperly shared a private recording of the same Wazir Council proceedings with Chief Judge J. Jermaine Bay. The Chief Judge then compounded this breach by disseminating the confidential recording to 3 of the 5 judges. This act violates the confidentiality of the governmental deliberations, represents a gross abuse of power by both the Prime Minister and the Chief Judge, seeks to improperly influence the judiciary by exposing it to privileged executive deliberations.
Pause right there. So you see what he did is this. He took the Wazir Council recording, shared it with the judges. And not even all the judges, just 3 of the 5 judges. You see I put it right here? 3 of the 5 judges. The main ones that was active that he claims or deems to be within his inner circle, his circle of influence. He would always tell me about that. He's Sultan, you got to have an inner core. A circle of influence. You got to have a circle, an inner circle. Like this is Meet the Fockers or something, right? I mean, like, it really was like that, like some Meet the Fockers style. I don't know if y'all seen Meet the Fockers when Robert De Niro was telling, what's his name? Fokker, Greg Fokker, whatever his name was. He was saying, we got a circle of trust, a circle of trust. Remember, that's what he was basically saying, right? So what happened? So he had his little circle of trust. So you got Cicero, you got Isaac, you got, no, let me rephrase. You got Chief Cicero, you got Isaac, you got Dominique, you got Cyrus, and you got Judge Akil of Ampag. Cyrus and Akil were not privy to this information. Only Isaac, Dominique, and Cicero. And what was he seeking to do with that recording? See, he's trying to circumvent my authority. He's a monarch because I was going in on Jay. Oh, I was going in on Jay. Because I know that Dre is going to do exactly what he did, which was to share the recording with Jay. So then Jay turned around and shared the record. So now you see how you're crossing branches? So the prime minister, see, this is an inappropriate relationship. The prime minister violated the independence of the Moorish judicial authority and shared a Wazir council meeting with them, with him. He compounded that violation and turned around and shared it with all the judges. So now all the judges, and that's unbeknownst to the Wazirs, all the judges are sitting there in their chambers listening to a private recording that the Wazir Council had. That's an absolute violation of the sovereignty, the independence, I should say, of the Moorish judicial authority, i.e., the judicial branch. Stay out of the executive branch business while you all in the business, because you have a certain agenda. That agenda was to have me removed. So when she said ANPAC don't play that right then and there, I already knew that there was a seditious conspiracy getting ready to take place. Someone has something to say? Did someone say something? Okay. Violates the confidentiality of governmental deliberations, represents a gross abuse of power. They said that I'm the one that was abusing my power. This is a gross abuse of power by both the prime minister and the vice and the chief judge. That's where you get the abuse of power. Not me writing an affidavit. I didn't abuse my powers by writing an affidavit. Come on, are you serious? This is the stuff that they fell for. Seeks to improperly influence the judiciary by exposing it to privileged executive deliberations. They were trying to influence them. He was trying to influence people, right, about me and my position and my disposition about him. So what the hell he got to do with the Constitution? You never heard me nowhere in the recording say that I can't that to hell with the Constitution and I'm just going to violate the Constitution and I'm just going to be a monarch. What you was hearing in that recording is me going in on him. On him. One of the things that he absolutely did not like is for me to say, I don't need you, or we don't need him. Oh, he didn't like that at all. He liked people like Amir Hassan El. What are we going to do? Who's going to write the documents? He likes that status. He likes that mental status, that dependency. He likes the dependency. He wants the Moors to depend on him. So again, when she says foolishness, such as, I'm giving him one, who are you? First of all, who the hell are you to give me one last chance to do any daggone thing? Who are you? You see the arrogance? I am giving him one, like, who are you? Other than a Castilian. I am giving him one last chance to do right by Jay. You see? Because according to her and Jay, I'm not doing right by him. You know why? Because I don't want to hear that shit from you no more, sir. Something ain't right with you. Something ain't right with you. I got questions. That's why. And he showed and proved with his subsequent actions. Is everyone clear on everything that I'm presenting here? Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns with what we've covered thus far?
No concerns.
Any comments or questions?
Well, the comment is, they had surrounded you and the AG. They had Master Bay watching our Council General classes on Sunday with the AG, so they thought they had it all in the bag to get rid of you too.
That's what they thought.
Yeah, that's what they thought.
And not one time, I would like to say this, because I know Brother Larry understands. Tell everybody, has there ever been a time, Larry, when you was in my Council General classes that I threw anybody up under the bus or was not honorable to the Empire of Morocco? So why was Mansur watching me? This is what I did. Because they knew, and I'm asking this question to Larry. Larry, we were always in study mode. That was it.
Always in study mode.
Always in study
I
mode.
I know I made a comment one time, Jay Bay know a lot. And what made my antennas go up, he said, you told me, he don't know everything. I said, uh-oh, that's that Capricorn speaking. That's a hint.
No, he doesn't. He did not know everything.
Right.
This is why something was brought to us from the YD regarding the PO. There was always ways for us. That was no meaning of disrespect, but it more great minds is better than one mind. We had to get the Moors to thinking for themselves. If I never was talking to the consul generals about, which should have been stated to attorney generals, if I was never talking to them about impartiality and thinking for yourself and studying the rules of law, we wouldn't have Daryl Day. We wouldn't have Brother Vega. We wouldn't have you, Larry. That what was happening on the calls, teaching everyone about impartiality, that this isn't about friendships. What Monica portrayed was a friendship. When you have that type of friendship, and I would say, and guess what? Monica has known Jay way less than I have. I've known Jay for 17, Jermaine for 17 and a half years. So I knew already that Jermaine didn't know everything. It wasn't me trying to demean what Jermaine did. I'm not. I just tell the truth. The Sultan didn't write the 1906 Act of Algeciras. He didn't write one of his favorite treaties that he talks about all the time, which is the what? The treaty, the the Treaty of Fez. Sultan always talks about that treaty, but he can interpret it well, but he didn't write it. I didn't write the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, so it was never me demeaning what was being taught. I just wanted the Moors to understand that this was already out there. If if you read any of the superior treaties that we are superior in, and if you go back and teach it, I guarantee you teach it different from what Jermaine's going to teach it. Jermaine teaches his outlook on things, which doesn't mean it has to be Larry Smith L's outlook on things. This is why we're moving so fast right now. And we were never going to implode because everybody that was self-thinkers came over here to the de jure empire. Every single week, there's somebody like Brother Miguel who sent me, is a self-thinker, sending me different things to think about. He just sent me something this week regarding international law. Larry, how many times you text me things every week regarding what? International law.
Yes, international law.
Correct.
That's where our freedom is.
So, and I'm not taking the open forum. I just wanted everybody to understand that Manser, man, is sad. And I hope Manser get this recording. Because I want to say for the record, Manser, I'm so very sad for you. Because all that I taught you in the time that we were together, and in the personal conversations that me and Manser had on the phone when he says, man, I see your outlook on things. And I remember Manser one time, I called Manser. Manser was like, good brother, what's going on, man? It's a lot of, he says, well, sometimes people that are high performers maybe expect more. I said, Manser, they're high performers in the areas. Because you're on 6 or 7 conference calls throughout the week doesn't mean you're high performing. That you're a high performer over me. I was studying on my own. I asked to be a part of the Wazir Regional Council. I was told no. We know why. I I remember calling the Sultan without having a relationship with him, and I think he'll remember this. I remember calling the Sultan, asking him for to petition for the Attorney General position. I don't know if you remember that, Sultan. Remember? Me and you had never really spoke before.
Consul General position.
Yes, the Consul General position. And he pointed me towards Drake's direction, so that's what I did. I petitioned to be your Attorney General. a long time ago to
Yeah,
Dre.
but hold up. I didn't just point you towards Dre. I pointed you towards Dre with a message, right? And that message was, well, I don't know because I was told that you got too many kids, you coach too much, you don't have time for the empire. These are the things that
Yeah,
they're telling me. So, I need you to consult with Dre. That let's preface that because that's what I was told. I was
correct.
misled. I was coerced.
Correct. So for all the people that's on this call, I had my own officials at AMPAC because I'm much more, as y'all know, I'm much more like Abdul Smith Al-Kabir. I'm a self-thinker. I'm not gonna let you think for me. Jermaine, who know me for 17 and a half years, says he never does what I want him to do. He never does what I tell. No, hold on one second, man. Why are you asking me to do that? Explain to me that. So they will always go to the Sultan and say, "Oh, he's too busy." Larry, have I ever been too busy to do my Sunday calls?
Never.
Larry, have you ever seen me not be on the call that I was told I could be present at? Because remember in the past empire, I was told I didn't have to be on those calls. So people would call me and tell me what was going on in those meetings, for y'all to know. I knew what was going on in those Wazir Regional Council meetings because my brother that I've been knowing for since 12 years old, Von Raziel, was a part of the WRC. So people will be telling me what was going on these calls, and people will be telling me that the Sultan was, they was just saying all type of things, and I was hearing it. But as the so-called acting head consul general of the empire, they never wanted me in those meetings because they knew I was going to be too impartial, and I would say, "Hey, stop! That don't seem right. Hey, stop! Why are you talking to the Sultan this way? Hey, stop! Why are you yelling at this wazir?" So, long story short, and it just Larry just made me remember the judge. It's shameful, and I want Master Bay to hear this one day. It's very shameful, brother, on how you did not hold your oath of office as a consul general, which was to be impartial. When I asked what consul generals would help me with the investigation, he removed himself from the chat. Amir Kane Eel told me that Kyrie would not be a part of the investigation and spoke for Kyrie. So I decided to pick up the phone and call Kyrie myself. This is the seditious things that was happening. And even before, and I'll finalize with this, before the investigation even started, me and Amir Kane Ill was talking for a whole week. He would call me or I'd call him. And he would say, "Yeah, man, I just spoke to Jay. Yeah, man, I'll be on the phone with Jay all the time." And I told Amir Kane, I said, "Amir, he's calling you for a reason, good brother. Something's getting ready to happen." I said, "Please, brother, for the love of me, do not dishonor your office as a consul general. Do not let him sway you in your thought process." He's, "Oh no, bro, we from Detroit," because Amir Kane Hill's from West Side Detroit. I'm from East Side Detroit. "We from Detroit, bro. We don't play that. Ain't nobody gonna sway me. I'm just having conversations with him, man, because he helped me get out. He wrote the preliminary objections, right?" I said, "Yeah, good brother." I said, "But you did you did your time because that was the time allotted, good brother. We were all out here waiting on you to come home." And then next thing I know, a week later, the Sultan had to um, write the affidavit, and then Amir Kane Ill left, which lets me know that they was not ready, basically, for their positions. They wasn't ready to make the hardest decision that you had to do, which was what's right by the Constitution. Because I remember Mansur telling me, "Yeah, man, things just ain't right." things just don't seem right. And he would come in and he would go back and report to Dre because being a part of the preliminary objection committee, I basically when I was ahead of the PO committee, they said, "Well, you bring in people who you want to bring in." And then next thing I knew, Mansur was in. So I called Dre and I said, "Dre, I never knew Mansur was a part of the PO committee." Yeah, I'm just bringing him in. I said, "Okay." I said I ain't got a problem with it. I said the brother's, seems like he's pretty sharp, but you know, I'll start to build a better relationship with him and things like that. And come to find out, it was true what Brother Larry said. They brought him in um, to basically watch what I'm saying. Um, and even though we know it's an open forum, um, I truly believe that AMPAC 2.0 is on this call tonight. Um, and I'm glad that they're listening to it. Um, and I just want to say to the AMPAC 2.0 officials that's on this call, you won't win. You've already lost. So it doesn't matter whatever you decide to do. Your legacy, as much time the time that you put in is all done. The Moors around the world will never ever look up to Jermaine. It's just the 20 people or 25 people over there that he got, and half of them just know that they particularly can't come and hold a government position, so they're staying over there. So if it wasn't for those, I tell the Sultan all the time, if it was not for those Sunday calls, which retracted the things that they had to say about me behind my back. My children has never stopped me. My kids that I coach, I travel in the summertime, guys. I run a travel team, Puma circuits. I'm still on my calls. I still get my class ready. I'm still studying on the airplane as I'm traveling, still ready and prepared for my classes on Sunday. But that was the biggest thing that they hated about me, which they still hate today. They hated the fact that I still lived my life, but still gave everything I had to the Moors. But I still have things that makes me happy. And working with children and coaching, that makes me that makes me overly motivated. I'm working with more subjects, children that would never ever think that they were Moroccans until they met me. So you think that I'm only doing work with the adults? I'm doing work inside of the schools every single day. So Archie, the children that I've coached that ran across me can never say that they were not told any of this information because I'm giving it to them. I just tell them that they can't go inside of their classrooms and tell the teacher who's teaching Black History Month, she not going to understand that you ain't Black. That's just the bottom line. So, yeah, Mansur was very disappointed.
Yeah,
But I yield from there.
yeah. Islam, brother. I appreciate that, and to hell with Mansour and all the rest of them. Whack-a-mole, scimitar. Does anyone know what a scimitar sword is and what it looks like? Yeah, it's if you don't know what it looks like, perhaps I should send you a picture of my pen. You think Mansour is Watson Ali is a huge disappointment. Jack Daniels, Kane, L is a huge. All of them. Makara's only here because of me. Kendon was here because of me, which means then that Mansour was here because of me. Watley Bay, Thomas Watley Bay, a huge disappointment. These are all Negroes, Moorish conscious. And that's a disrespectful term, Negro, because I'm disrespecting that term, Negro, because that's not the word that I mean to say. I can't say it on this recording, but it does start with an N, and it ends with an A, not an ER. I said it earlier off the recording, so y'all know what I'm talking about on this recording. I remember that song? I'd rather be your and I. That's what they are. That's what they are. And as well as incompetent. Now, let me make something clear because it dawned on me while the AG was expressing itself, and I appreciate all that you said. This is why I keep telling them more, and this is what they're trying to spin. Let me get past this real quick. What did she say? She said, I'm giving him one last chance to to do right by Jay. When did she say that? When was the recording? June 28, 2025. Which means by that day, by this day, I was already displaying pushback towards Jay, which is why she said this. What am I saying with that? That affidavit didn't come because I was mad about what he said in this recording. The affidavit came because of what she said in that recording. Ampac don't play that. It's a seditious statement. But I was already creeping up on him previous to June 28th, 2025, which is why the statement was made. I'm giving him one last chance to do what's right by Jay. Because doing what's right by Jay is kissing Jay's ass, and whatever he says goes. Yes, Chief. Whatever you say, Chief. That makes sense, Chief. Okay, Chief, 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 Chief. Okay, Chief. Whatever you say, Chief. That's what they want. So when he asked for us to allow him, the Wazirs, and me, the Sultan, in this seditious group text, where's it at? Right here. Defiance of lawful directive. In that uh, unconstitutional group text, he asked for us to vote, for the Wazirs to vote on his debate against Cujo L. He wants to go debate Cujo. And we got people who are sustaining injuries that he claims to be collecting evidence. We're collecting evidence to go to the ICJ. No, you're collecting injuries. People are going to jail behind your foolishness, your practice, your ego. So everyone said yes. I said no. In all caps. You see, this is when he started to say, oh, the Sultan he ain't with me no more. Yes, no, I'm not. I don't know if the prime is on, but he should remember. And all those former Wazirs, if they listen to this, and I hope that they're on, they remember too. I said, no. The hell you doing a debate? What you debating with Cujo for? I'm over here worried about the political reforms. So, what pissed Jay off? Which part of this affidavit pissed Jay off? I already know Jay, man. This part right here. Because I called out the constitutional framework on executive authority. The supreme authority of this state is unequivocally vested in me, His Majesty the Sultan, Abdul Al-Kabir. This is affirmed in Article 10 of the Constitution, which states, the Sultan shall preside. And I should have put that in all caps and in bold letters. The Sultan shall preside, because remember, he has his own definition of what preside means, which has nothing to do with any dictionary, far less the Black's Law Dictionary. According to his definition, a judge who's presiding over a case, he's just there as a fly on the wall until the prosecution or the defense team summons him. Until then, he's just quiet. He's just sitting there. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't bang his what they call that, gavel, and say order in the court, asserting his authority because he presides over it. No, he doesn't do that. He just sits there and let everything take place as everything else as everyone else see fit. That's what his definition of preside means. The Sultan shall preside over the prime minister as the absolute sovereign authority in all matters of political, legal, educational, judicial, educational. So legal, political, what does political represent? The government, executive branch. What does legal represent? Does anyone know what legal represent?
That's our attorney generals or consul generals.
That would be the legislative branch.
Okay.
Right? But there's an element of that as well. I understand why you would say that. Judicial. So political is the executive branch. Legal, legislative branch. Judicial, the judicial branch. Education, AMPAC study sessions. I have authority over the AMPAC study sessions. I can tell Jermaine to shut it down. Oh, I wish I would. It'll turn into a problem because he's the boss. You see how this works? He is the behind-the-scenes sultan, as he says, so shall it go. He is the single ruler that everyone else is following up behind. But I'm in charge of education, economic, social, and military affairs. The whole gamut. I preside over it all as the absolute sovereign authority. This is the part that they want to change in the Constitution. And there's nothing wrong with the Constitution, and there's nothing wrong with that language. That's what the head of state is in any government. The problem is I'm not his puppet. As such, I shouldn't hold that power. I can only hold that power if I allow myself to be a puppet and just be puppeted around. I do as he say. Until then, I got a forked tongue and be deceitful and make up. I mean, you're just like bold-faced lying, making up definitions for the word preside. And he came up with 3 different definitions, not just one. 3 of them. This article establishes a clear and irrefutable chain of command and allegiance. All executive, judicial, and governmental authority flows from and is subordinate to the office of the Sultan, period. That's what he don't like, because it's me who's invoking it. The actions of all officials must reflect this ultimate allegiance to the sovereign and the constitutional order that I embody and guarantee, period. He don't like that part. See, he didn't like that I was, right, flexing my muscles. He's not used to that. You see, Morris, you know why he wasn't used to it? Because from the time that I became Sultan up until this time, I didn't give him any problem. I didn't give anyone no problems. I wasn't a monarch then. It was all good then because I stayed out of the way. When my third eye started to open up and I started to get in the way is when I became a monarch. Did y'all hear what I said? It's when I became a dictator. It's when I became a tyrant. It's when I became unhinged. It's when I became all these things that he's been saying, that this case that he's been building up against me since June with everyone else. I became that in the moment that he started to see what Monica saw. What did she see? I'm giving him one last chance to do right by Jay. What am I supposed to be doing right by Jay? Following along with any and all directives that comes down from him. I have no say. Yet I'm the Sultan. Listen, Morris, I don't have a problem playing a role. Whatever it takes to decolonize. But don't play with me, though. Don't play with me. This was never a discussion where you're just this and I run the whole show. If that was the discussion, it wouldn't have happened. Not with me. That's why he didn't have that discussion with me. So it comes by surprise. Yeah, well, you got the wrong one with that. If it was a matter of you controlling and governing and doing everything, because you're supposed to be wearing all the hats, you're the sultan, you're the prime minister, you're the wazir, you're the legislator, and you're the chief judge. And that's exactly what he is in the AMPAC 2.0 jurisdiction. If that was the case, then why put in all this work? I'm not the one for that. Placeholder, unless I choose to be a placeholder. If I needed to be a judge, as an example, I would be a placeholder for a judge. That's all I am, because I am not judge material. I don't like the idea of being a judge. It's very boring and uninteresting to me. It's like watching paint dry. I can't do that. I need the activity of a politician. That's what drives me, is the activity. The shaking hands, kissing babies, politicking, getting with the people, upholding the people, public lectures and public speaking to uplift people and motivate people. Probably should have been a motivational speaker. The black Robin, what's his name? Anthony Robbins. Now that's more in alignment with my energy and my spirit. I couldn't be no daggone judge. This whole placeholder mess. Who is supposed to be the one to take over? He's already in a line. He's already in line waiting for us to decolonize, to only then say, Abdul, you got to go because this person here, this guy is he's going to be the one to take over. Okay, if that's the case, then where'd he come from? Which then leads to the question, what's the agreement to have your capital felony sealed? What was the agreement? Not only what was the agreement, but what is the details of your charges, sir? Don't answer me. Don't answer me. Answer that to the AMPAC 2.0 folks. I could care less. Because you're done over here any daggone way. Answer that to them. There was other points of interest that I wanted to touch on, but we kind of got carried. This is not the end of it, Morris. This is just I'm just touching on this. I got more to come. I told you I'm about to stir up the mess again. It got a little too quiet. I need a little noise. I need some more awareness. In a moment in which now the chitty chatter has gone away, he's no longer in their ears, right? Because see, he pimped Amir Kane L. He pimped him out of his draws. Excuse my language, but it is what it is. He pimped him out of his panties. Yeah. Oh yes, he did. This is what he spent all those weeks calling him and calling him and calling him, getting in his head, gaming him. He was gaming him. And he was like, okay, that's Amir. Jay's calling me. Because I remind everyone, the reason why he did such an excellent job with the security detail at the caucus, the public inauguration, because he was trying to impress me, because he wanted to be the Minister of Defense. He ain't no paper pusher. You know nothing about writing nothing. That boy could barely write his name if he can stay sober enough to do it. He ain't no administrator. He ain't no Kanye show babe. All of a sudden, now I'm the Attorney General. No, you ain't. You're the AA, the AAAG. Y'all figure that one out. Humor for y'all. I'm toying with them. They matter not. I will continue communication with them. This recording will be sent to them. Every time we have an open discussion, it will get sent. We'll be communicating with them. They are my nationals. They are my beloved nationals. Removed former officials. Nationals, nonetheless, which means I owe them an allegiance. Right? I must still protect them. So our new version of the PO which is now going to be known as the Notice of Exclusive Venue, we'll share that with them. Call on us if you need assistance or not. But what needs to be known for the record, and J. Jermaine Bey must be clear about this, Abdul Smith Al-Kabir ain't going nowhere. You got a problem, dog? I ain't going nowhere. In fact, we're getting ready to ramp up Operation Political Swarm. I am going to control the narrative on the international arena amongst the families of nations as to who the Sultan is. As of June 8, 2024, the ratification of the Constitution with my name on it. Let me show y'all something. Let me remind Jermaine Diaz Spencer of something. Let's take a look at the constitutional procedures of the Constitution here, shall we? Drafted on February 1st, 2024. Thank you very much, Jermaine. It was politically prepared, not authored, politically prepared. The same way Noble Drew Ali divinely prepared the Circle 7, he politically prepared the Constitution. Copy, paste, plug, and play from the French Constitution. He did not author it. Let's be clear about the credit that's due here. You get credit, not all of it, because you ain't no damn author. Okay? But thanks nonetheless for the drafting of our Constitution, February 1st, 2024. Signed by the Sayarajas on when? February 29th, 2024. I remember that day because it was one of the other days in which we broke the Black History spell on the leap year, February 29th. Oh, did y'all notice that? Number 3, signed by the Wazirs on February 29th, 2024. Election day for the Sultan, May 12th, 2024. Now, take a look at the rest of this. What does number 5 say? Somebody tell me what number 5 says.
Declaration of Independence by the Sultan, May 13th, 2024.
Who's the Sultan? Who was the Sultan that did that?
You?
Oh, okay. All right. What number 6 say?
Constitution signed by the Sultan on June 3rd, 2024.
Who was the Sultan that did that?
You?
Oh, okay. What number 7 say?
Public inauguration of the Sultan on June 8th, 2024.
Who was the Sultan?
You?
Oh, okay. What does number 8 say?
Promulgated to the empire by the Sultan on June 8th, 2024.
And who was the Sultan?
You?
Okay, now, so let's go back up. So number 1, it was drafted. Number 2, Sayarajas signed it, right, on February 29th. So that's it. Sayarajas. On to the next. Who's next? The Wazirs. That's it. So is the Sayarajas? That's it. Number 2. Number 3, the Wazirs. That's it. Number 4, the Sultan. Number 5, the Sultan. Number 6, the Sultan. Number 7, the Sultan. Number 8, the Sultan. Y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
This is why I embody the Constitution and why I am the grantor of the independence of the Moorish judicial authority. Because even according to the Constitution, it's all about the Sultan. And how you going to sit here and tell me that Article 10, preside, doesn't mean preside? See, Moors, here's what you need to understand, and I think I have shown and proven my character here. Everyone, all the Moroccans who voted for me, y'all lucky. And I say that with full confidence. Because I'm a man of honor. I come from a righteous place. I'm a Leo. I lead with my heart. I'm a very loving person. I also don't play that shit. And I've said this many times. That includes Jermaine. Care who it is. You're not going to violate the Constitution. So why you're lucky? Because Abdul Al-Kabir is not going to allow the empire to enter into any subordinate contract. I'm never going to sell the empire out. I care less about $1. I care less about $1. You're not going to give me pennies so I can walk over dollars. I'm a law-abiding. I've always been a law-abiding citizen. That's not to say that that makes me better than anyone. The point that I'm making with that is, in comparison to Jermaine, he's been a criminal. He hasn't been able and willing to respect American laws, which is how he ended up with this egregious record on in his past. Capital crimes. That's murder, treason, rape, or act of terror. Look it up. Which one of those did you do, sir? And then you proceed to circumvent the authority of the Sultan and the Constitution, which is Moroccan law. So you don't respect American law or Moroccan law, according to your record. My record is clean. I can get top secret clearance with the CIA or FBI or the military. I got a clean record, which demonstrates that your Sultan has been able and willing to be a law-abiding citizen, which then shows you a pattern of behavior, which means then I would be a law-abiding national of the Empire of Morocco to uphold the Moroccan laws. If I'm going to uphold American laws, of course I'm going to double, triple uphold Moroccan laws. Conversely, if you're going to violate American laws, then you're going to violate Moroccan laws. And you think that the colonists ain't watching this? This is the reason why they can't do it. Because their background check is in question. He has a capital crime on his record. J. Bay does. And it's been sealed. Not only does he have that on his record, but also cocaine trafficking. The so-called Sultan, same thing. The so-called Minister of Foreign Affairs, same thing. Dre Bay lied about his warrant, making it seem as though it was in Colorado. And all it was in Casper, Wyoming. You're lucky. You're lucky only because I'm very honorable. Very account. Let me say it this. Let me say it like this. If they had real cause for my impeachment, if there was real cause for my impeachment, for my so-called fraudulent impeachment, in which no man or woman needs to be told that they did something wrong, right or wrong. When you go lay down at bed, when you go lay down in your bed at night, it's just you and your consciousness. You know you did something wrong. Right or wrong, Morris? You know you did something wrong. So if I know I did something wrong, if I know I violated the Constitution, I wouldn't put the government through an impeachment process. I'll ask for forgiveness. And if the forgiveness cannot be afforded to me, then how about we just, how many people on the call? 100 people? Okay. 51 to 49. Let's vote. And if 51 people say, yes, we want you to resign, then I'll just resign. Because I know I was wrong. That's the type of person I am. I wouldn't put us through all this extra stuff. For what? I know I effed up royally. I've absolutely violated the Constitution. I got called out on it. I got caught. I'm going to ask for forgiveness. If there's no forgiveness there, then it is what it is. I need to go sit down somewhere. That's the type of person I am. But you're not going to lie on me either and think I'm just going to sit by idly while you just lie on me, defame my character. Class 707, what was it? What are all these classes? What is it? 174. 174 and 175. Both of them are a smear campaign and it's defamation of character, and my likeness and image is on the screen. I'm going to sue them for that. I'm never gonna forget. I'm gonna sue them. I'm coming after them for that. That for 174 and 175 is defamation of character. They playing with my name, my image, and my likeness, lying, saying that I removed people. I did not remove anyone until the 6th. Let me show and prove before we close out, as we get ready to close out.
And as you're doing that, Sultan, I do want to point out the rebuttal video from the de jure empire regarding 174 and 175 was removed. They called YouTube to remove the truth regarding video 174 and video 175 that we put together. They had YouTube remove that video.
Yep, they sure did.
And Pack 2.0 did. So if it was lies that we were talking about, then why have them remove it? No, it was truth that we were speaking on. That's why they had YouTube remove that video. But we still have it in our archives just in case any nationals want it. I yield.
Indeed. Now I'm going to show you the People's Proclamation of Nullification and Restoration. Give me 1 second here, Morris. We'll get ready to close out here soon. Where is it? This is all this folder is called failed coup. Everything dealing with the failed coup attempt is in here. All my decrees and such. This might be it. This is it. The People's Proclamation of Nullification and Judicial Restoration by Shereefian Majesty Abdul Smith Al-Kabir, Sovereign of the Empire of Morocco. To the government, the judiciary, and the people of the empire. Whereas the Constitution of the Empire of Morocco, in its supreme wisdom, established in Article 75.1 that His Majesty the Sultan shall be the grantor of the independence of the Moorish judicial authority. And whereas by virtue of the supreme sovereign authority vested in our person by the Constitution of the Empire of Morocco, specifically under Article 10, and further empowered by the declaration of a state of emergency under Article 18 to confront a seditious conspiracy, we act as the ultimate grantor of the constitutional order. And whereas this sacred duty charges us with the solemn responsibility to protect the judiciary from all corruption, coercion, and subversion, whether from external forces or as now from a poisonous cancer within its own ranks. And whereas a seditious conspiracy led by the suspended Chief Judge J. Jermaine Bey and his confederates has utterly corrupted the judicial process and rendering it a weapon of personal ambition and political coup, thereby annihilating its independence and integrity. And whereas, in defiance of our repeated directives and the principles of due process, repeated directives and the principles of due process, this faction has convened a fraudulent proceeding before a so-called interim chief judge, Isaac Bey, in a direct and treasonous assault upon the office of the Sultan in violation of Article 81. Let it be known that this proceeding stands as the ultimate proof of judicial collusion and the complete application of constitutional order. The farcical nature of this proceeding, its blatant disregard for legal procedures, its reliance on pre-written documents authored by the suspended J. Jermaine Bey. See, he was not only was he not allowed to write documents for the High Court, which is based on the legislative branch or crossing branches, but you ain't supposed to be doing nothing, no way, because you are under suspension. So you just belligerent and defiant as hell. Okay. And his malicious misinterpretation of the constitutional term high crimes demonstrates an incompetence and bad faith that is patently incompatible with the holding of judicial office. An independent judiciary cannot exist when its chiefs are conspirators, and a grantor cannot be silent while the institution he is sworn to protect is destroyed by its own guardians. Therefore, in solemn fulfillment of our constitutional oath under Article 75 to guarantee an independent judiciary, we hereby proclaim: 1. The fraudulent proceeding and its findings are declared null, void, and of no legal effect ab initio. It is expunged from the record as if it never existed. As I said, so shall it be under a state of emergency. This was under a state of emergency, utilizing my emergency powers for 30 days to deal with this foolishness. 2, Isaac Bey Madiel is hereby removed and permanently barred from any judicial or public office for his central role in this judicial charade, a kangaroo court which has brought the entire judicial authority into disrepute. Number 3, J. Jermaine Bey is hereby stripped. I put it in all caps and in bold. Jermaine Diaz Spencer is hereby stripped of all titles, privileges, and immunities. His authorship of the fraudulent proceedings documents provides irrefutable proof of his ongoing sedition and his fundamental betrayal of the judiciary. He is to be held for criminal prosecution. Any judge or judicial official who participated in or endorsed this unlawful act is hereby suspended and will face immediate investigation for their complicity in the destruction of judicial independence. This is not an act against the judiciary, but an act for the judiciary. We are exercising the corrupt to save the honorable. We will now appoint judges of proven integrity who understand that true judicial independence flows from fidelity to the Constitution, not from collusion with seditious factions. The Moorish judicial authority shall be restored to its rightful role as a pillar of our republic, independent, impartial, and free from the corruption of traitors. What day was that? 6 October 2025. That was the first removal under the People's Proclamation of Nullification and Judicial Restoration. When was the state of emergency called upon? On the 4th. And in that state of emergency, I called for them to just do the right thing, just appear before the court. They refused to do it. They doubled down and tripled down and quadrupled down on their violations, and here comes the removal, which came after the proceeding, which took place on the 5th. The little clandestine, secret proceeding they had behind the scenes, and then popped out of nowhere with this so-called impeachment to all the nationals. No one knew about it until they came with it. So they had their little votes on the 2nd and the 3rd between the House and the government. Then they had their little private member bill written up and ready to go, passed and everything by the 3rd, recognizing Dre as the interim sultan. This all came after the 1st of October when I issued the affidavit. By the 3rd, it was all said and done. By the 5th, they had their little kangaroo court. So by the 6th, I removed all their asses. Not all of them, Jay and Isaac, and gave everyone else more opportunity. So when he misinforms everyone and says that I removed the prime, he made that statement on the 5th. No, I removed the prime. I removed Dre on the 8th. On the 8th, under a state of emergency. But he said I removed him on the 5th. The first person that was removed wasn't even Dre. It was you, Jermaine. You were the first one, you and Isaac. Keep it in mind, Isaac was already part of a coup d'etat earlier on with Ampag, when I was the wazir, and he was complicit with the Seyaraha to impeach me fraudulently. So I'm battle tested. I've already seen this before. Who the hell y'all think y'all dealing with? Come on, man. Put some respect on my name. Any questions, comments, or concerns before we close out? Any comments, questions, or concerns before we close out? There's more of this to come. I'm not done.
It's law.
This is just a teaser. 1 second. This is just a teaser. There was more I was going to touch on, but we got carried away with this. I was going to touch on a few other things that had nothing to do with this. But since we got into the discussion of the coup d'etat, because the question was posed, what is a coup d'etat? Okay, we kind of went down somewhat of a rabbit hole, but not really. There's so much more to talk about regarding this, and I got more to talk about, especially things that has taken place, that has transpired thereafter, dealing with our attorney general and the manipulation, the juridical jurisdictional manipulation of Germain to serve his personal vendetta because he's not at ease. He is in distress. Ampac 2.0 is in distress. They're not comfortable. They're not even comfortable with this Sultan because this Sultan ain't nothing much more than a tumbleweed who is not well spoken. Nobody want to sit there and listen to this clown speak. He's a waste of time and an embarrassment to the empire. Go ahead, good brother. What was your point of interest?
Yeah, something. I'm really feeling the energy from the meetings today and YD getting inaugurated yesterday, and I'm really feeling the energy. I recited this for my YD state constituents yesterday, and I called AG about 2 3 weeks ago, and I told him what I shared with him what I had. Uh, he made me feel great even going further with it. And what I had in mind for you, Sultan, was when you go to podcasts and you speak on if you any hip hop podcast or African American, Black, Morris, all of those type of things. I would like you to have uh, a song and a jingle. So this is really just about the lyrics at this moment, but it's really I was going to present it after the song was done, but just because of the energy the last couple of days, I really like for you to hear it now. So here it goes. We going hard on the grind. Man, I wake up every day. EOM on my mind. The Sultan back and see that now Morocco won't lie. And why these stable republic within the empire shine. And that's on mine. We going hard on the grind. Man, I wake up every day. EOM on my mind. The Sultan back and see that now Morocco won't lie. And why these stable republic within the empire shine. Mr. Casey Silver will come through dropping the bomb. When it's all said and done, my brother's saying Islam. I shall flower master, Moroccan bring a disaster. Stockholm syndrome got you steady loving your master. And oh, you think so highly of your captor. More thinking they black got him steady caught in the rapture. My rhymes hit hard because of fracture. Cootie tied, temp went sour, ousting the actors. Hey man, I think you missing the factor. My head of state ran that man over like on a tractor. He was operating de facto like the government of the United States. Roundtable Morocco never focused on divided place. Unity, loyalty, conformity, and obedience. Taught the colonists how to govern, and they've been greedy since. But the principles bring us back. It's your birthright to this land, and don't ever forget this fact. So when I get to rapping like this, they really hate it. My words are getting my brothers and sisters renunciated. And make sure that it's stated when the world come listen here. Our praises due to His Majesty, Abdul Smith Al-Kabir. Make sure that it's stated when the world come listen here. Our praises due to His Majesty, Abdul Smith Al-Kabir. Islam, Islam.
Islam.
Islam,
Hey,
Islam, Chief Judge.
Already.
um, um,
You
there's no way in hell I'm gonna sanction that verse if I don't get a feature, sir.
I got the beat.
Islam.
I got the beat.
it's Islam, son.
I need a
Islam.
feature. I don't know. That was you had some bars, you know.
I'm gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to be honest with you, Salter. That's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to come with the bars to be on it. Now, I got you
or what
represented well. You're good.
my
Now, if you want to come on in, come on in. You want to double dutch on in? Come on, double dutch on in, because I got my YD constituents gonna be on it too. So it's all good. You
yo,
want to double dutch on in?
man, listen, bro. My my political pen was born of my hip hop pen. You might want to watch what you say to me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Good
Okay. Okay.
God.
Hey, well, I'll
Proof
let
and
you.
play.
Well, Salted, I'll let you know this. MCS, Mr. Casey Sizzle, I just changed the acronym to making colonists suffer. So I'm right with you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all with you, bro. That was that went hard. And we gonna need to get I don't know Primo. I need an old school beat, bro. Something like that. I don't know, some scratching. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
remember all the beats are ours too. If they under colonist companies and corporations and our more subjects don't own the publishing, we can snatch these beats from the colonists
oh
when we
man,
choose.
see, now you're taking me down another rabbit hole, Lord. Why you do this to me? We ain't gonna close out. I be done. I
No, we
can
go ahead
talk
and
for
close out, son.
yeah,
It's all good. It's all
man.
good.
I
I
can
just
go
wanted
for
to share
hours.
that with you
Yo,
and the
check this
Empire
out.
and the officials. I was just and the officials because I was really feeling the energy of yesterday and today, man. So I just had to let it go.
Let it go. Excellent, bro. That was an excellent verse. Um, I like to see myself as the hip hop sultan. That's what he didn't like. He wanted me to be Carlton Banks. No, I'm Fresh Prince. I'm Fresh Prince. And
That's
don't be
right.
shocked if you see me roll up on the White House with some Timbs on. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Um, I'm not here to impress them. I'm here to control the narrative. You know what I mean? But when you say a hip hop podcast, yeah, by all means, I'm the hip hop sultan, man. But as you were pointing out, though, you know, man, the United States is in trouble because all we're gonna do is take all the hip hop artists and give them a platform in the empire with the fair
Islam.
share of their royalties and stuff. We're
Yes,
gonna have
indeed.
our own Hollywood. We got all the directors, we got all the producers, we got all the actors, we got all the rappers, we got all the singers. We'll just bring them home and give them the structure. We got the structure for them, the platform that will protect them and their royalties and their wealth. How fast you think they're gonna skip town from the United States and come to the Empire of Morocco? We're gonna take over the hip hop industry. We're gonna take over the Hollywood. We make up those industries. Without us, those industries are nothing. So imagine when all those Moors come over to the Empire of Morocco and rebuild those same industries within the Empire of Morocco. What's going to happen to Hollywood? What's going to happen to I don't know, Def Jam and Jive Records and Jive
Disintegrate.
Turkey Records and great, you know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen to all them?
They're going to
No.
dissolve and disintegrate.
There you go. So that's part of the economic and financial reforms plan. See, that fool told me, he said, you ain't got no vision and mission. Your vision and mission is my vision and mission. Boy, stop it. Go sit down somewhere. Boy, that was the most disrespectful thing. My mission and vision is, oh, trust me when I tell you, Morris, it's there. That's why I said, y'all, listen, you got the right person in office. I got the mission and the vision. I just gave you some insight on one of them. We're gonna take over the all those industries, whether it be music industry, acting, and whatever. We're going to give them a platform, a safe platform under protections for them to safeguard their wealth and continue to make music and control the narrative of the music, the contents. See, we're going to use the same music to reprogram the people from the low degenerate vibration to a high, more positive vibration. And then you'll start to see the generations go from twerking and pants hanging off their behinds to now upstanding, honorable nobles with their pants up, and the ladies carrying themselves as ladies. The only reason why they behave this way is because of the music industry and the manipulation of the media. So, being as though they use those mechanisms to brainwash us into lower self, we're going to use the same mechanisms to re-brainwash us into higher self. Did y'all hear what I said?
Islam, Sultan.
Part of my vision, my mission, and vision. Same thing with the educational reforms, right? The HBCUs, the historically black colleges and universities, will become the historically Moorish colleges and universities. Did y'all hear what I said? And we're going to redo the curriculum
Uh,
based on the documents that we reclaim that's hidden in the Smithsonian and the Pentagon and the Vatican, wherever y'all got our stuff, give it back. And we will put together a council of learned men and women to study our ancient scriptures books, scrolls, etc., and put together a new curriculum. Simple as that. I ran on that premise. That was one of my points of interest when we were doing the campaign, and I still stand by it. I got a mission and a vision. And there's so much more, but we're gonna get ready to close out. You know what I mean? I appreciate the hip hop anthem, the verse. Yes, I'm open to any podcast. Black, I don't care. I don't care who it is. Could be white. Uh, put me down with the drink champs. Put me down with the hip hop scene of people. Because if we can control the narrative in that environment, if we can start to pitch the more coin in that environment, right? Or any black podcast, we can start to pitch the more coin so we can start bringing value to the more coin. You see?
Yes,
The
indeed.
best, the best is yet to come. We're just getting started. We spent these past 5 months getting things in order, organizing, planning things out, getting things put together. Now it's time to pull the trigger. We're coming to the point now. We're getting ready to pull the trigger on the political reforms, which we call Operation Political Swarm. We're going to swarm planet Earth, if you will, the family of nations, with our correspondents to let them know, hey, we're back. We're raising the question of Morocco yet again in 2026. And all y'all got some explaining to do. What's up? Yeah, you're getting ready to control the narrative as to who the Sultan is and who the de jure empire is, as distinguished from the fraudulent tumbleweed. Islam Moors, any other points of interest, comments, or concerns before we close out? It's 10:42. It's getting late. I be done went on and on and on and on and on. Oh man! Oh, one of these days we'll do that. We're gonna do a marathon, and y'all will see the full level of my understanding on matters, man. My knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is pretty deep. That boy can stand next to me on his best day with Jordans on, and me
Uh,
wearing
he can't be like
flip
you.
flops. Was that?
Yeah, he can't be like you. He hate that you like this. He can't be like that. He
No, but
can't
not
do
even
that.
Jay can't be like this. He lacks this skill. He lacks this. He lacks this personality. He's a stiff. He's a weirdo, but he's really a sociopath, a sociopathic, narcissistic weirdo who's full of arrogance and high on a horse. But that's my horse, and I'm not even riding the horse. I got the high horse. I got it parked in the barn. He's out here. I thought I had it parked in the barn. I look outside. He jaw riding my high horse. So I had to tell him to put it up and get up off the horse. And that's what turned into this coup d'etat, failed coup d'etat that he tried to put on me. He said that I was trying to unseat myself. He said that I was trying to seize power for myself. And all the weirdos over there said, that's true. We got to protect the chief. Well, as I close out, here's what I will say as some parting words for the fools of AMPAC 2.0. Your dependency on Jermaine Diaz Spencer shall be and is your political demise. Good evening, everybody. Have an excellent evening. Peace, love, and prosperity. Long live the empire and His Majesty the Sultan. We'll see you
Long
next
live the empire and his majesty the
Long live
Sultan.
the empire and
Islam. Peace.
blessings.
Long
Long live
live
the
the Empire
empire.
State
All right,
Citizen.
Valerie,
Wow.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam,
take
Morris.
take it easy, Valerie.